Hey guys, it's me, SD Vaughn, here with another Dr. Stone video discussion. And today I just wanted to discuss the latest chapter of Dr. Stone, chapter 227. Most of the reason why is just due to Y-Man and the events that occurred during this chapter. It made me think about a lot of things in this chapter. I just want to discuss it and just really think about what Y-Man has really been doing to continue on from that from the previous chapter, like from the not previous chapter from my previous video, and just really think about what has Wyman really been doing across the story and what's his real plan here. Before I go any further, I just wanted to address, there's going to be major spoilers across this video. I will be discussing, different arcs in the story that are way past the anime, past the Storm Wars arc. I'm going to be talking. So if you haven't caught up with the manga, or if you haven't read the latest chapter, or if you only read the if you only watch the anime, please be warned there will be spoilers. So what made me want to do this video and and discuss this recent chapter, as I've never done this in any video beforehand. I've never discussed any individual chapter. I have a crackpot theory about maybe that Y-Man has been listening to the Kingdom of Science crew, and and I know it sounds silly. It sounds but hey, this is the same guy that made a petrification device that petrified all of humanity. And the device can it's nigh immortal, and it can heal up wounds, practically revive someone from the dead, well, near dead, like Hyoga. It can't be too silly, can it? I don't know, but hear me out for a second throughout this video. We're going to be discussing, my thoughts on that, and just also the actions of Y-Man here, and just really think about what's he doing here? What's his plan here? So the reason, first, I just want to start off. The reason why I think that Y-Man has been listening in on them is the fact that he knows Kuhaku's name, and it would make sort of sense that he has been listening to them to an extent. And he knew Kuhaku was with him. That's another thing. He knew Kuhaku was on this trip. How does he know Kohaku was there? It had to have been when they were talking after the fact, during their trip to the moon. I would say maybe that's when he started listening in and learned that it was Kohaku, Stanley, and Senku on their way there. Because now I'm just thinking about, like, how did he know that Kohaku was one of the chosen ones that came to the moon? He couldn't have. And he knows about the Medusa capsule. And let's not forget that he picked up on Senku's synthetic voice after the Treasure Island arc. He picked up on it during the Treasure Island arc, and then after petrifying Yubara, he then uses a synthetic voice of Senku's to try to activate the Medusa to petrify the whole world. So he, like, during Yubara and Senku are having their conflict, and then Senku has to use a transmitted command to the Medusa to petrify Yubara. And then, unbeknownst to all of them, Y-Man picked up on that and then copied his voice, made a synthetic version of it, and has been using it since, whenever encountering the Kingdom of Science crew. Kind of like he did here in this most recent chapter, where he used a synthetic version of Senku's voice again, this time tricking Kuhaku to try to open the capsule that the Medusa is stored in, most likely to petrify Stanley, Kohaku, and Senku in their tracks to prevent them from reaching him. I don't think it's too far fetched to think that maybe he's been listening in on Senku and crew. Now, when he may have done it, I can't say for sure. There's not much in the story where I can say that he might have been listening in. I would have thought that after he petrified the crew after the second time, he may have been like, well, it's over, it's done, they're petrified, I got what I wanted. Humanity's back to being the way it was. Maybe he thinks this may happen again, so he may be keeping a close eye. Keep staying on their frequency undetected without anyone noticing, so that when they do wake up and they're doing their around the world trip to revive humanity and such, that he is listening in on the crew as they're going along to revive humanity and make this rocket. And that's when he knows that Senku is kind of the leader, the smart person of this group. So he's allowing this all to happen so that he can get Senku to go up into space, so that he can take care of Senku there, rather than just trying to deal with him from the moon to the earth. That may be the case. I can't say for sure. There's not much in the story to really say that's the case. there's also the part about the fact that he knows about the Medusa capsule. Now maybe he's able to see Kohaku holding the Medusa capsule from the from where he's at, and maybe he was listening in as they were discussing things. As they were approaching the moon, when they were talking to everyone from Earth, and while they were on their their spaceship, maybe he's been listening in since then and learned about Kohaku's name. We're not entirely sure. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's how he learned about Kohaku, at least her name anyway. But who knows? This also is that's why I also think he's been listening in, because they're all wearing spacesuits, and so wherever distance he is from where they are, how would he know which one's Kohaku, and then pick up on her signal specifically to talk to her before Senku and Stanley notice that that's not Senku talking, and to stop her before she releases the capsule. So I don't know. I really think he has been listening to the Kingdom of Science crew during certain points, and that his plan was just to bring them there to deal with them there, so that then he can repetrify the Earth again without Senku and whoever else intervening. I'm still working on my timeline video for Dr. Stone, but look, after chapter 198 of this story, Suika was petrified. Okay, a little bit before then, before chapter 198, before they got revived by the revival fluid. Suika was petrified for 2 years. After in chapter 193, after Joel used Y-Man's on loop interval of petrifying the entire Earth, petrified everyone again. She got revived 2 years later, and then spent 5 years by herself trying to learn how to create the revival fluid. That's 7 years. And then there's the counting of the number of years that the Kingdom of Science crew are doing their worldwide trip, their globe-trotting trip, to revive humanity and get things back to the way they were back in 2019, or at least close to it for right now. And so we know that a number of years have passed. So I'm just like, what has what has Y-Man been doing this entire time? I think he's just been listening to the Kingdom of Science crew, planning and plotting. What if he wanted to get certain people to come? What if he possibly knew Senku would be coming up to the moon? He could make a plan to not only get whoever's coming to the moon, but whoever else is still back on Earth. A 2-part plan. This way he could win and get what he needed, because now Senku and them are separated. And then there's Rusui, who's in the space station, their spaceship, waiting out to see what's going to go on. So you have everyone else on Earth. You have Rusui up in space as well, and then you have the crew on the moon. Everyone's in different spaces. There's no telling what Y-Man might do and what he might do here, because he didn't seem too surprised about them being on the moon. Like, as soon as they're on their little Range Rover getting over to where Y-Man is located, immediately it was just like, hey, Kohaku, open the capsule for me. And then it flashed, and then I guess, yeah, as soon as they realized that it wasn't Senku talking, it was Y-Man, they do like a flashback to the fact that they put this Medusa in the capsule. That makes me think that maybe he was listening in on the fact that they were putting the Medusa in the capsule. Maybe the Medusa has another function where it can function as a radio frequency or something like that. I don't know, but it makes me think like they're referencing back to that point where the Medusa self-activated, and they thought that Y-Man maybe used some kind of radio frequency or something to cause the Medusa to self-activate, but they can't really be sure, and it's too risky to test it out. Like, I can't wait for this to be revealed on who Y-Man is, and if we get any of these answers, or of what's going on, maybe what he's been doing this entire time. This is just this is a lot of what I've been thinking. Is that he's I think that after petrifying the world the first time, and then petrifying the world, not the world, but Masakazing them during that time, raining down all those Medusas, then learning about Senku and crew, and then they got one of his Medusas. I think he was just like, my plan may not work of raining down the Medusas. These guys might counteract. Like, he's listening in. Maybe he was listening in around that time, knowing that they're counteracting his plan. So maybe that's why he wasn't doing anything. But they don't talk about their ways to counteract the Medusa until chapters later. He could have, I don't know. Then again, as I talked with someone named Keith Jones in my last video, when he posted on my video, he made a good point about the fact that, and I agree with him too, that, because of how complicated and how advanced the Medusa is, it may take him some time just even making one Medusa. So maybe he was working on one while listening to the Kingdom of Science crew, or maybe not. Or it's a lot to say to what he might have been doing on the moon. Like, just like I was saying in my last video, he's had so many opportunities, so many chances, and what's he been doing? That's why I feel like maybe he was just waiting for them to come to him on the moon, and then he would just take it from there. So I guess we'll have to see what actions Y-Man might take in the next chapter, but it just makes me all more interested to see what goes on, and how much does he really know. How much does he know about Senku and the Kingdom of Science, Ishigami Village, and all the other people? Like, he knew about Matsukaze and all them because he rained all those Medusas down, and so it's going to be really, really interesting to see what he really knows. But yeah, this is just a video I wanted to talk about. I didn't think I would make it this long because there's not much evidence. There's not much really there to really say that he has been listening to the Kingdom of Science crew. But, let me know what you guys think. You think Y-Man's been listening into the Kingdom of Science crew? Do you think it's too far-fetched? Too silly of a thing, to contemplate? I don't know. I think I would like to think he was. Though it doesn't really make sense for, the large gap in time that, he from when they revived after chapter 198 to when they are now. He hasn't really done anything. Well, at least he's doing something now. He's taking action now, especially in this most recent chapter. And we'll get to see what he might do next. So it's going to get really interesting, especially to find out who he is and all that. So leave me your thoughts on what you think about Y-Man. And, if you really thought he was listening in this whole time. The mystery just really grows when we start thinking about who he is. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of answers we'll get next week. And I hope they're really good answers. At least, make sense to the story of who Y-Man is and everything. So yeah, there's that. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about this, about what was discussed here. Let me know if you guys think Y-Man was really listening. Do you think that he planned all this? He really was just like, I'm going to wait till they get to the moon, then I'm going to start, all this to, start my plan. My plan was for you to get to the moon now. I probably think that my petrification didn't work, so here's this. But yeah, so yeah, leave me your thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just thank you guys for watching. And I'll be coming out with my next Dr. Stone video once Y-Man is revealed, and we'll get to discuss all of that. And then, I also got my other videos, my favorite game moves, all that other stuff. You guys will enjoy that. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying whatever manga or comic book you're reading, whatever anime and cartoon you're watching, whatever TV show or whatever you're doing. I just hope you guys are just enjoying the rest of your day or night, and just thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys later.